What's shaking, guys? Today we are going to be joined by Nicholas Lawrence here in Las Vegas, chatting all about his brand new release, Revolve, and taking your live questions. Speaking of that, the best question today will hook you guys up with a free copy of his At the Table lecture. That's right, we want to hook you guys up with a free copy of that. So the best question today does get a free copy from YouTube and one from Facebook. So get those questions in. The best ones do receive a free copy of his At the Table lecture. Who am I talking about? You guys know who I'm talking about. Mr. Nicholas Lawrence, what's up, buddy?
Yo, what's up, guys?
All
How's it
right.
going, man?
It is good to have you here, man. So appreciate your time today. I know you're a busy dude.
Of course, man. No, I'm super excited to do this. This is great.
Awesome, man. Well, we definitely appreciate it. And again, guys, I'll put this up so that you do know you can win his At the Table lecture. All you need to do is post some great questions for us, and the best ones from Facebook and YouTube win. And we're going to give away a free copy of Revolve, but we will figure that out as we go because that's going to be something for
Ooh,
people to try to enter until next week. We'll announce the winner next week, so we can kind of work on that throughout this. But there is a free copy up for grabs. Stay tuned how to find out how you can win a free copy of Revolve. So, what have you been up to, man? What's been going on with Nicholas Lawrence?
dude, man, I've been staying real busy.
Yep.
With and produce some of the coolest magic we can. But yeah, that takes up a lot of time. So
Right on, right on, right on. I know that we had some audio issues going on there, guys, so I'm aware. Uh, he's been working very hard with the Abstract Effects teams, the team members. That was pretty much what he was saying there, yeah?
yeah, that's right.
Oh, man, technology is a fun thing, huh? Fun thing. Um,
Hopefully it works its way out.
yeah, we'll be fine. We'll be all right. So one of the things that was very popular as of 2019 was Titan. Titan was quite a popular release that you did, and I know a lot of people, use that all over social media and, of course, in the real world too. But did you have a favorite thing before we get into the future and with 2020? Do you have a favorite thing from 2019? Whether it's a product, whether it's something that you did, whether it's creatively something new that you picked up. What was the highlight for you 2019?
I mean, really, it was starting abstract effects. So I mean, if two effects I can name that we produced in 2019 was Titan,
Yep.
which is a super visual utility gimmick, like you mentioned, but also Blade.
Yep.
That was a big hit. It was something that I've been doing for years, and uh, I didn't realize the hype behind it because I considered it kind of like a cute, fun trick. It's super entertaining, but it actually did really well. You know, a lot of you guys gave me some awesome feedback and picked it up, and I'm seeing lots of video people enjoying it. So that's super cool. So if you haven't checked it out, check out Blade by myself. So
Yeah, that was a hot one too. I forgot about that one. You kind of debuted that one at the Blackpool convention. That was kind of where it started to get its
that's
name.
right.
Yeah, that was a good one. So again, guys, post your questions for Nicholas. We got him for about half an hour or so. And the best question from Facebook and YouTube does get a free copy of his At the Table lecture. Doing giveaways every single week. So here's our first one coming in from Facebook. We've got Thomas Bradley popping up here. Who influenced you the most in magic? Man, that's quite a big question. That's a hefty one.
That is a big question. I've got my favorites, but I've been inspired by hundreds of magicians, young, old, even some people who aren't even really known.
Sure.
Um, so there's a lot of creative, even prodigies out there. But if I were to pick one person, um, I got to give it to my man Garrett Thomas.
Nice.
Yeah, we grew up in the same city, Buffalo, New York, and me starting when I was maybe around 11 or so. He was already kind of doing his thing in Buffalo. He was a working professional. He had released tons of material, and I didn't even know what it was about. But he kind of guided me and showed me the ropes. So yeah, I'll give it to Garrett Thomas.
Dude, that is definitely one of the giants in our industry, one of the great guys. And I noticed as of yesterday, he's starting his own YouTube channel, which is kind of cool. So,
Yeah, yeah, totally. I hopped on there and I'm following, so I'm sure it'll be good.
yeah, Yeah, he's great. And man, while you're chatting about your influence, I got to say, the chat has been blowing up with some love for Revolve.
Oh, it's excellent.
So many people are loving the visuals on it, also how easy it is, and is a nice bonus that it comes pre-made. I think that is something a lot of people are very happy and thankful for.
Yeah, totally, man.
Yeah, very cool. Um, Julio would like to know. This one comes in from YouTube. Excuse me, from Facebook. How long have you been doing magic? How long have you been doing this crazy stuff, Nicholas Lawrence?
So I actually just had this discussion with one of my partners, Daryl Williams. We were just
Mm-hmm.
chatting about it because he's been doing it since he was like 4, which is crazy. But I was thinking about it, and I know it's roughly 20 years, but after actually looking at the math, it's more like 25 plus years when I really kind of showed the strong interest in actually learning magic. So yeah, man, it's been quite the long journey.
Love it. Yeah, man. You've definitely have made quite the imprint in the industry as well. Farouk says over on YouTube, great to see the modern day Paul Harris here. So those are some
Oh,
pretty big
whoa,
words there.
those are some big words, man.
Yeah,
Some big shoes to fill.
that's awesome, dude. Bro Gilbert, what's up, bro? He's hanging out over on our YouTube channel. Um, when you set out to create a new effect, what are the steps you take, and how do you stoke your own creativity? So, what steps and what kind of gets you fired up when it comes to creating?
Okay.
Good question.
Well, I love classic magic, whether it be, whatever you consider classic, but I would consider anything, you know, roughly, even 15, 20 years old
Yeah.
to 100 years old. That stuff kind of gets buried quickly. But there's something in everything. So I guess by kind of researching magic and seeing all the things that have been published, you get a good idea of what plots. Um, Basically, when I do find a plot, then I take that and just kind of find what needs to be either revamped or maybe what were some of the restrictions with that effect and what can I do to reduce those, take them away and kind of break down walls and just maybe take it to the next level. But a good base for me has always been looking at the classics. I mean, they're good tricks for a reason. They've been around for years and years. But sometimes in this modern world, it's nice to give them a facelift
Mm-hmm.
and just try to make them also clean, as clean as possible. There's been a lot of things in the past that were great, but either required a lot of skill to make them to kind of complete the moment. I guess that's where I like to come in and try to make them as clean and as visual. Graceful is a big word, I mean, with my magic. And that's the part that takes the practice. But just taking anything and just making it look, smooth.
Sure. And I
Yeah.
got to say, that's one thing. There are people that create magic, that are, they're thinkers, and then you have people that perform and do stuff. And you're one of those rare breeds where not only do you create great magic, but then when you see it in your hands, when people watch you do it, it just looks so good. Like it's so smooth. And I know you're not hearing that for the first time. Let's be honest. I mean,
Sure, sure.
but it's always fun to see you do your own stuff because I mean, of course, you're going to do it better than anybody else, but you could actually do your stuff. You know? So
Yeah, man, dude. Yeah, I love it. I love to practice. I love to perform. Not so much professional, like on a professional level, but when it comes to this casual conversational performance, I love it. It's why we all got into it, kind of
no,
sharing those moments. But also, it's crucial. If you're going to create something, you got to make sure that it's going to work for other people as well, and make sure that you can teach it well. So,
that's a very good point. Yeah, you want to make sure it's something people will actually be out there using. And I mean, we see people using Nick stuff all the time, whether it's online or out in the real world. So
yeah, man.
here's a good question from John Miller. As we're talking about creativity, um, you put out so many great effects, which is a nice compliment. Um, what's the most difficult stumbling block you've run into? So when it comes to creating magic, is there one thing that happened or has happened to you, and you just it just pisses you off when it comes to creating new magic, or maybe it's a trick you tried to create and you just like hit a wall, you know?
Oh, sure.
Uh,
I will first, thank you to I forgot the
Don,
name. Sorry,
Don.
John. Thank you so much, John. It was nice of you. But also, um, I think with anything, there's going to be like hard times, and you're going to stumble a little bit. But that's kind of the part of being a part of an art. It's you get that dedication to kind of push through that. There's been a ton of tricks that I've invented that took me a long time to kind of crack the shell and figure out. But also, once I've done that, it's even taken me years to refine those things as well. But really, I guess the hardest part is kind of being limited. So you have to really do your part and kind of research and also invest in certain tools
Mhm.
that can take you to the next level. So there's been times, where I have this idea and I can see it in my head, but I just don't know exactly the right steps to get there, even to a working prototype. So sometimes that can be probably the most frustrating parts to creativity.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, man, once you get past that, it's amazing, right? So,
Right on. This one comes in. I think you know who this is. Tyler Lunsford. Uh,
oh yeah, man, yeah,
yeah,
he's
right
got
on.
great reviews.
He does. He sure
Yeah,
does. He's coming in from YouTube and he says, "Would you say you're more of a passive creator or more of an active creator?" Let me bring that back up. When it comes to creating magic, do ideas just come to you, or do you sit down to come up with something new? So does stuff just come to you, or do you actively have to sit down and make it happen? I think that's what he means. Yeah.
yeah. You know what? I would say it's a 50-50.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can just be sitting here watching a movie or just out and about, and I guess just being observant. You can see something and just spontaneously come up with an idea, whether it be branching off an old effect or something completely new. So that definitely happens. But also, I like to just kind of sit myself down and maybe pick a certain object and then just kind of review the effects that have been done with this certain object, whether it be a Sharpie or a deck of cards. And then from there, just kind of brainstorm and create something kind of on the spot. So it all really depends, but I'd say it's about 50-50.
Sure. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, got some other man. You guys are blowing us up with the questions, which is great, and we've packed a lot in already in about 10 minutes. So keep them coming. This is great.
Yeah. Keep them coming.
And again, people watching from all over the world. We've got Riz here watching from India, and I'd love to hear from you guys where you're from too. People all over the world. It's always nice. We've got Jean Marc here from France. That's pretty rad. So it's always cool. Um, Daryl Williams is here. Facebook. What's up, Daryl?
Heck yeah. What's up, dude?
He says all your magic starts and ends clean slash examinable. Most would be happy with the visual and end without examination. What motivates you to work extra hard to find the quote unquote holy grail? So
Mm.
it's a good point because a lot of people have a gimmick and they just say, here, use it. But you like to get in and out clean. So,
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, for me, that's what it's all about is magic, especially visual magic, should look as close to real magic as possible. Whether, that involves getting into the trick, right? That intro, showing a normal everyday object, doing something magical with it. But then it's so important to figure out how to kind of ride out that moment and get to a point where, like Revolve, you start with a normal card and it changes back and forth and then it ends completely clean. That's really important if you're going to be doing these hypervisual like magic moments. So that's just always been a thing for me is, kind of start clean, end clean, or at least start smart, end clean, most importantly.
oh, that's fair. Yeah. And I like that you put the extra thought in, to get to that point because, I mean, let's be honest, that's important out in the real world when you have those gimmicks in play or getting them in and out of play. It's always important, and
Totally.
nice to know that you think about every little detail. So very cool. Let me see. Here's a good question, Mariano Goni. Another creator out there. He's a
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's great. Love his stuff.
he says, "Do you continue trying to perfect your own creations, or do you consider them finished?" So that's a really good question. With all of us, and I think it's great that we're now going to talk about Revolve too, because it kind of falls into this. But
100%. Yeah, that definitely ties into that. I would say I definitely keep on working on all of my ideas because for a long time I would just strictly perform my own stuff for many years. Now I'm kind of starting to adapt more tricks, but kind of that being said, every time I pull out those old tricks, I kind of figure out either a new routine handling or more streamlined gimmick. Because I guess that's the idea when creating something is you're trying to get it as close to perfect as possible. And you can only, I don't want to say you can only put so much work in, But when you have plans to share something, it's really good, and it's going to affect a lot of people and maybe benefit a lot of magicians. You want to get it out there. That's kind of how I am with my stuff. Is sometimes I'll sit on something for 5 years,
Hmm.
sometimes I'll sit on something for a year. But at the end of the day, once it's out there, I keep working on it, and that's what you're seeing with Revolve. I mean, it was maybe 5 years ago. I think I published Evolve,
Right.
which was something that was very juvenile. It was cool. It was definitely like a revolutionary thing.
No, that makes sense. That's good. And we're checking out, as you can see, the trailer. Man, that shirt keeps tripping me out. I tell you. We're checking out Revolve now. This just dropped. It's officially available now worldwide. It was on pre-order for a little bit. Why don't you talk a little bit about what they're seeing on the screen here, since we are talking about Revolve now? Some of the things you can do with it, besides just change a card from red to blue or blue to red. Mm-hmm.
Teach how to build your own, basically your own new design. So this is something completely new. It's going to add a lot of extra features, but kind of with that said, allowing you to get creative. Um, you can do anything with Revolve. I mean, really, as long as you can do a little bit of arts and crafts, you can make a bill, change it to a playing card. You can make a lottery ticket turn into a playing card, or money. That would make a little more sense. A lottery ticket, maybe it's a scratcher, you win, you lose.
Mm-hmm.
Change it to $100 bill. Um, but with the actual red to blue gimmick, you can do a lot more than just change the card. I mean, kind of my favorite thing you could do is a transposition, which is a color change, but you can
Mm-hmm.
do it non-visual as well. That's kind of how I started to add that mystery. But just seeing a red card and a blue card switch places underneath your hands super cleanly is a great opener. But then to do the visual changes, which I teach, I think like 5 or 6 changes, like ways just to execute the gimmick. But I also include um, a cool concept that I realized you can do with this Revolve gimmick, which if you guys are familiar with Scotch and soda, or you've got a copper coin and a silver coin, they can switch places. Well, I didn't get as much time as I wanted to dive into the possibilities with this, but I did realize it is possible to use the Revolve gimmick as kind of a Scotch and soda, which is super interesting. So you can do some interesting transportations with it. Also, you can use it in the same concept. You can use it as an open prediction. So you can basically have a red and blue card sitting on the table. Uh, you know, Execute your Mercury card fold, as we're all familiar with, for most switching of a folded playing card. Well, you can use this gimmick for exactly that. So you can switch a card openly, but just with a different presentation because it's 2 cards versus one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I also teach some bonus ideas with Revolve turning completely transparent. That's a super cool visual where you just see it go from a red card to transparent.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, these are all kind of those are kind of DIY things, but just the main focus I think is just the gimmick coming included. It's newly designed, so that way it allows some really cool things. Mostly being able to add the card to the gimmick and dismount it off the gimmick seamlessly.
Yeah.
Which with the first one, you were limited to a single change. You had to set it up and then just use it one time. Where this one, you can get creative, do multiple phases.
Yeah, it's and also I want to say something else that I don't know if you touched on it or not. I don't think you did. Is the build quality of this, the material that you've used to build the gimmick? I'll let you take over from there, but it's
Sure.
superior to what people have used in the past for stuff like this. I think that's worth saying too.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, anything, like without revealing much here, I mean, obviously it's a folded playing card.
Mm-hmm.
So with anything that's being folded, most magicians can kind of follow here. I used a special material. Okay, it's Tyvek, which is an unterrible paper.
Yep.
And just using that for some of the components on the gimmick, it really helps for the longevity. I mean, it's going to last you a long time. Where sometimes visual tricks like this, You get them out of the package, and maybe you practice for a week, and the next thing you know, you have to repair it.
Hmm.
With Revolve, you're going to get well past your practice phase and probably have it for possibly a lifetime, but maybe if you're a working professional, over a year before this thing, basically still hasn't fallen apart, but maybe has gotten dirty and worn down,
Yeah.
But besides that, it's super durable. Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to mention that just because sometimes, a lot of times these days, rather, gimmicks aren't very strong. They're not made to last. And this one is, so it's worth mentioning. And so people do know that. So.
Yeah, totally.
This is a really, really good question from our friend on Facebook. I'm going to bring this up. We'll get to the first part specifically. I think his name is Jarud. How do you see the future of Magic? What do you think we should expect? So let's just stop there. He goes kind of into technology and stuff with other things, but the first part of that question, I think Jarud, by the way, you just won a free copy of Nicholas's At the Table lecture. That's a great question. So right here on Facebook, you guys, that's your winner for the free copy of the At the Table lecture. YouTube, get to it. You guys still have to get a question in. But yeah, where do you see the future of Magic going, man? And what do you think we should expect?
So, just as the broad question of Magic in itself,
Sure.
I think it's going in a good direction. I think it's kind of inevitable with something as amazing and as powerful as Magic. I guess the main thing to look at is a lot of the new guys who are coming into Magic, just like any art form or any craft. What's going to happen because all the guys who've done it previously, we've showed that certain things are possible. So all these young guys coming in, they get to see that these things are possible, right? Which maybe we didn't see when we were kids. And that's just inevitable for them to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
And I think from what I'm seeing at conventions, personally seeing these young magicians, but also on Instagram, I'm seeing an amazing amount of creativity. So that could only be a good thing. As well as, just my peers, guys my age who are out there releasing Magic, they're constantly taking it to the next level as well. So I'd say we're in a good place.
Mm-hmm.
And just to touch on the technology aspect, of course, I think that's a good thing because technology has always been advancing, and magicians have always figured out a way to kind of stay there right on the cusp or a step ahead and blending it into the natural world. So I'm not really afraid of technology exposing Magic.
Sure.
I embrace it. I think there's a lot of benefits to it. So I would say Magic is going in an awesome direction. Some things we weren't ready for, some things we didn't like, sure. But at the end of the day, it's what we all love, and I think we're all pushing it forward.
Well said. And it's great to have people like you leading the way. Another brilliant mind actually jumped onto the end of the Revolve project. You sat with Cale Morelli, and he shared some of his additional ideas and thoughts too. Another great guy
Yeah, man.
in our industry. So there's good stuff coming out, and your name that just keeps popping up over and over and over again. Which takes me to a question which is really good on YouTube. This might be our YouTube winner actually for the free at the table. Um, Jack does magic. He says, "I love your trick Revolve. It's my favorite trick ever." So this question is, why did you want to create tricks and start magic? So let's just take that to the creative part. What made you want to start creating magic tricks? Because you're so good at it. What made you want to do it?
Um, well, when I was maybe 11 or 12 years old or so, maybe even 10, I got into Magic and I seen like David Blaine and
Mm-hmm.
a few other guys on TV, like the Masters of Illusion. And
Oh, yeah.
I guess, okay, so I see two types of magic, stage magic and close up. And close up really hit home with me. I felt the magic. I was, in awe of it. So obviously it's amazing. That's what got me into it. But as a creator, I did start creating young, um, mainly because I didn't realize that there was a community out there. This was before YouTube and Facebook, a lot of things. So I didn't even know there was a very large community. I just thought it was the selective few who found a book or met a magician. So I started going to the library and picking up some things there. Um, but they were very old tricks. It was good knowledge, but I wanted to kind of do the things that David Blaine was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize I could just go out and purchase those things. And also, I didn't have the money. I was just a kid, and that's kind of a lot to ask for, and from your parents, like how do you even get into that? It was before I even found a Magic website.
Yeah, sure.
So it was just kind of necessity for me and drive because I wanted to do these tricks. I seen David Blaine doing it with ordinary objects and a
Mm,
deck of cards. So man, I grabbed my dad's deck of cards and just kind of dove in and started coming up with my own stuff.
cool. Very cool. Out of necessity then. That's cool. Yeah. That's cool.
Well, mainly necessity, as in I had so much passion to do it,
Right.
right? So I needed to do this, and I was going to do it one way or another, whether it's book or whatever. So, yeah, man, just started cutting things apart and taping magnets to them.
Yeah. Yeah, you're definitely known for that just a little bit. Yeah. Um, this is a question that we don't have to spend too much time on, but I'd like to ask you. It did come up. I have a very strong stance on this, but I would love to hear your thoughts. Nigel Quinn's asking from YouTube, as a Magic creator and performer, how do you view the current trend of tutorials and exposure, and how do you think maybe we could defeat Magic piracy in particular? So let's back up to
Okay.
the tutorial slash exposure part. What are Nicholas Lawrence's thoughts on that?
Okay. Just I can go quickly on this.
Sure.
Let's see. Really, from outside looking in, at face value, it does seem like a really bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it does affect guys like me out there because obviously it's going to, limit sales and
Yep.
that's, money that I projected to earn. Okay, but that is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, I think it's going to happen, and there's no real stopping it. And it kind of has been happening for years and years. It's just now bigger because of the internet.
Sure.
But I think no matter what, we're always going to push through it, and that's just going to give other creators more drive and performers to come up with ways to disguise those methods that people might even know. But when performed in a certain way, you're still going to experience magic. So I think it's inevitable, but also, we'll get through it.
Yes, well said. Very well said. Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely get through it. Magic existed before it. It'll exist with it. I mean, it's just
That's right.
it's the thing. Yeah. Junior's popping up. Nice to see you again, Junior. He's one of our new friends that started. He found us on Facebook, I think yesterday, as a suggested
Okay.
video. So it's pretty cool to see some new faces. He says, Revolve looks dope. Do you need two? Oops. Do you need two Revolve gimmicks for any of the routines shown in the video ads? So in the trailer, do you need two gimmicks for any of those things that you do see?
Not at all. Not at
Good.
all. So the what he's probably referring to is the transposition mostly of
Okay.
two cards. But no, you just need one gimmick and two completely normal cards.
Cool. Do you have a favorite use of Revolve? And that's a question just for me to you as I'm showing the trailer again. Do you have a favorite thing that you do with it?
Yeah, it's actually that transposition
Okay.
because you can do so many different phases and so many different types of changes.
Mm-hmm.
You can really play it by ear, just judging your audience, how many phases you want to do, but also which visuals you want to do, whether you have a table in front of you, whether you just have your two hands and you have no table. Yeah, you can really get creative with it because of the different changes.
Right.
But yeah, I love the transposition, making two things switch places. Yeah.
Cool. No, that's great. And um, there are people that have said just how easy it is too. I wanted to mention that. I've seen people that really loud. Sorry. We have people that say that they got it, and they can't believe how easy it is. I'm looking through the comments as they're flying by. I think that's one thing people they see this and they think, oh man, this must be way too hard to pull off, or getting in and out of it must be really hard. It's actually not. I mean, it's actually
No, not at
very
all.
easy to do. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's a good point because it's something I kind of wanted to clear up with people.
Sure.
Is it is easy, and I really tried hard to design it um, for that reason to work with anybody. I mean,
Mhm.
it's simple. It's simple choreography, but I guess 2 points to know about the revolve gimmick is that there's nothing sticky on it, so you don't have to stick it to anything, and then there's that awkward moment of removing it.
Right.
Uh, it, it kind of floats on a normal card. You're gonna have to see this for yourself, but it slips on and off the card very easily, and that's a big point. But also, how the gimmick works is it all relies on gravity.
Mhm.
So from the point you place the card on the table, it's doing something, right? It's looking, or it's, I guess you guys are all kind of familiar with color changes here. This card is disguising itself. This gimmick is allowing it to disguise itself and look like one thing very naturally. You just using gravity, and then when you pick it up, it's ready to go. So as long as you know the choreography, which is almost as simple as just dropping the card from hand to hand, you're going to get this visual instant change. Again, relying on gravity. There's no delicate materials that aid the gimmick.
Right.
It just works kind of on its own once you know the choreography. But yeah, man, a couple days of practice and anybody can do this. And yeah, again, I use a lot of sleight of hand. A lot of guys know me for this. But something like Revolve is so cool to carry on you because you'll do like those um, go-to routines with a deck of cards, and then you'll finish with something as visual as Revolve, and that's how I've always won my crowds over. That's always, at the party, if I'm doing tricks for people, I'd start basic like anybody, but I end with something like Revolve, and that's really how I win them over.
Wait. All right.
Yeah,
Got some great people popping on. Chad Long's digging on the way that this looks.
cool. What's
Kim
up, Chad?
Anderson. Kim Anderson's here. He says that looks amazing.
Yo, what's up? Met him at Blackpool. Awesome guy.
We've got Adam Wilbur popped on
What's up?
saying hello to you as well.
How's it
Um,
going?
Benny Chickering, a great guy, a great gimmick builder himself.
Super creative guy. Yeah, what's up, Benny?
Got a question. Do you have ideas with it that you haven't taught? So do you have some hidden ideas with Revolve that you haven't shared but you've kept to yourself?
Um, so I do. I
Uh-oh.
I tend to try to give as much as I can. Um, I give as much as I can, not as in quantity, but as in, or yeah, so not as much as quantity, but in quality.
Sure.
So whether it just be one routine, I try to, really give you everything. But yeah, I got a few things that I keep back, um, mainly for the reason because I really like to see people take something small
Mhm.
and or really enough, but take that and run with it and come up with their own stuff. Especially something as simple as, in concept, a color change.
Mhm.
Right? This is at the end of the day a transformation. So you can adapt that to so many different plots in Magic. So yeah, I just love people to get creative. But yes, I do have my own things that I held back, but also there's some guys in the industry that use Revolve in a very unique way, and I also kind of hold that back just to let them hold on to that and let that be theirs.
Sure. That
Yeah.
makes
So
sense.
it's for you to find.
There you go. Right on. Another good question that popped up that I wanted to make sure that people knew about. It's a basic question, but it is one that I don't think we 100%. I didn't ask it. I think you mentioned it in passing. Matthew David Shealy wants to know. He says he's coming a little late, but does it come with a red and blue, or do you choose the color when you buy it? So once you kind of clear up when you
I see.
buy it, which gimmick are you getting? I guess is what.
Gotcha. So when you purchase Revolve, it's going to come with the gimmick ready to go. Okay, you don't have to do any DIY, and it's going to be a blue to red gimmick.
Mhm.
Yeah, of
Cool. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
course.
And it is, I would assume, I'm not going to put words in your mouth here, but I would assume if you wanted to customize it for another back or for the bill to the card or, something like that, I'm assuming that's pretty easy to do as well, right?
So there are a couple of effects that you can do by just customizing the gimmick that you already have.
Mm-hmm.
But for like a complete build, like a actual bill to a card, you're going to have to build it from scratch. But the good news is it is very simplified and streamlined in design.
Cool.
So you can build this thing pretty effortlessly just by following along with me.
Sweet.
But yeah,
All right. Can I have you for like another 5 minutes here?
dude, I'm with you. I'm here. So
All right, cool. We just got so many questions coming in. This is actually it's a good problem to have, but there's so many questions that I'm scrolling back up trying to keep up with them. But people love you, man. They love your stuff, so I appreciate the time.
so good. Appreciate you guys.
Um, Here's a basic one, but maybe for the abstract guys watching too. Junior wants to know: is there going to be a Facebook group or any kind of group to talk about different routines using this? Do you guys have or have plans on making maybe a Facebook group for the abstract effects, the products?
Yeah, man, we have definitely have talked about it.
Cool.
And it's been a really cool trend that I've been seeing going around. It's
That's
a
good.
really, really awesome thing. So that's something we're definitely considering. And I think Revolve would be a perfect one for that because it is just a tool. So I can't wait to see. We can't wait to see
Yeah.
people get creative using Revolve. So yeah, man, that's something cool, and we should dive into it.
Very good. Very good. Here's a quick one. Actually, it's a quick question, but it might not be a quick answer. We all want to know. This one comes from Farouk over on YouTube. What to expect from Nicholas Lawrence in 2020, in 2020? What can we expect from you, man?
Dude, man, we've got a lot. Uh, I've always got things that I'm working on and that I'm kind of pitching to the team,
Sure.
which then turns into a crazy jam session because obviously you guys know the other brothers. They're absolute geniuses. So we kind of throw things together, and the next thing you know it, after a long jam, we've got something amazing. So I can say this between me and these guys, and also many other artists that we're working with in 2020, we've got tons of great stuff. I'm super excited about a bunch of things. As you guys know, we can't really talk about them because we like to kind of keep under wraps. But you'll know about them when you're supposed to know.
When it's time. With the clock behind you, when the time is right.
That's right,
Yeah.
man.
Will you be at? Saw this a little while back, but will you or Abstract Effects team, will you guys be at Blackpool this year? I know that you guys were there last year, but any plans on you guys popping up this year?
Hey, man, you never know. I don't think there's an exact plan for it at the moment, but we've done a lot of things that seem very impromptu and off the cuff. So, if the opportunity arises, we might be there. But as for now, I don't think there's any plans.
Okay. All
But
right.
there should be for next year. I think we're planning for next year.
Okay. Very good. Very good. All right. I want to look through a few more here real quick. Let's see. Code word pop. Oh, Daryl Williams says code word popcorn. I don't know what that means, but okay.
Oh,
Huh.
hey man, if Daryl says it's cool, we can talk about it. But so we're trying to come up with tricks that just use everyday objects because those are fun. Kind of get
Cool.
you away from the deck of cards. And we got this really cool thing with popcorn,
Okay.
but it's actually so much more. It's going to seem like it's just popcorn, but hopefully once we get the trailer up, you guys are going to see this as a utility device you can do with a ton of things.
Okay.
But yeah, just remember popcorn.
Popcorn. All right. Code word popcorn. All right. All right. Since Daryl's here as well, and I know that we work together a lot behind the scenes with Murphy's here, but any hints, any spoilers for the next Abstract Effects release that Murphy's will be carrying? Anything we can say about that?
Hmm. I'm terrible at these kinds of things. Daryl, save me.
That's fair.
I don't want to give away too much because I know I will.
That's fair. I put you on the spot. I figured I'd ask, but okay.
But man, we definitely have a really cool lineup between myself, the other brothers, and other artists in the community that are joining us.
Sweet.
So yeah, we're gonna be producing some really cool stuff that I'm sure you guys are gonna love. So
All right.
stay tuned.
Sounds good. Let's kind of end on this question. As we're getting towards the end of this, I've kept you almost 10 minutes longer than I asked for.
Totally okay.
Um, Jonathan wants to know, how do you choose what to hold back and what to release? Just out of curiosity, you'd like to know that
Mm,
because obviously you have a lot of material, and maybe that could get into how you filter what you decide to release as well. So, yeah, how do you
okay,
decide?
sure. Well, it's two things.
Okay.
One being if it's ready or not. Right? It's gotten to a point where I'm able to put it out there. Whether or not I can't predict if I can make a better version in 5 years, like Revolve. Um, but at that point, I felt it was ready. So there's that, thinking that it's ready to be shared. But also, if I'm going to hold something back, it's because I really like it, and I don't want to give it to everybody yet. I want to use it for myself.
Sure.
But yeah, I feel like that's a pretty basic idea behind those.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of this you can spoil, but Daryl Williams did respond.
Okay.
He said it sounds like the next thing that we can kind of sort of talk about is called Summit, and he said that it debuted at Magi Fest. So yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much I can talk about it, but I can say that it involves all of us at Abstract Effects, but also, hopefully, I can say this: Patrick Kuhn will be joining us.
ah, Okay. Okay. All right.
So it's something that involves a Sharpie and playing cards, but it's the in what we in our opinion, it's like the best version of this trick that's come out. And actually, not only that, but it's unique enough to say it's the first time it's ever been done.
Cool.
So yeah, at first glance, people might think that it's something they've seen before, but I promise you, plot-wise and method-wise, it's never been done,
Okay.
and it's super exciting. So if you've seen Daryl Williams at Magi Fest this year, he was showing it to everybody, and people were freaking out and
Cool.
really enjoying it. So
Cool. I know what this is then, because you and I, when I was hanging out with you guys told me about what this was, so I know exactly what it is now.
yeah, heck
That's
yeah, man, yeah, it's super cool.
That is cool. Yeah. One bit of love here. I want to give him a shout out real quick. My buddy Jeffrey Tam says, I just
Yo,
ordered Revolve. I'm sure it's worth the price. Jeffrey from the Philippines. You know Jeffrey. He's great.
yeah, super cool guy, man.
Yeah. So
Um,
give him some
But
love.
he says, yeah, that's great. He's always a big supporter of my magic, so
Cool.
I'm glad he'll be receiving it soon and
Yeah.
get good use out of it.
Oh, yeah. He's awesome, dude. And you too are a great guy. And I want to say thank you for hanging out, answering so many of these questions. I'll announce the winners once we
Awesome.
let Nicholas get out of here. But any last words, any last things you want to say as I let you get out of
Well,
here?
yes, well, firstly, I want to thank you and Murphy's for having me here.
Of
Really,
course.
really appreciate it. It's always a good time.
Yeah.
Thank you for everybody who tuned in and for everybody who supported us with picking up a copy of Revolve. I hope you guys enjoy it.
Right
Actually, I can boldly say I know you're going to enjoy it. Um,
on.
but yeah, it's just like an endless gratitude. I really appreciate everybody for all the comments and just the support. So
Sure.
yeah, and thank you again, Luke. Appreciate you, man.
I got you, brother. Anytime, man. You're always welcome here. You know that. Sweet. All right, my friend. I'll catch you later.
Later. See you guys.
All right, all right, all right. So that wraps up our chat with the one and only Mr. Nicholas Lawrence. There I am, popping back up on the screen. Big shout out to him for his time answering so many of the questions. I know we went over a little bit. I do want to announce our winners that pick up the free at the table lecture from Nicholas Lawrence. This is what they're going to begin. This is the download. I asked you guys to post questions today. You did blow us up, and there were two people that asked some really, really good questions. And let me pull them up real quick. My list. Jarud over on Facebook, he picks one up, and it was Jack Does Magic over on YouTube. So I'll send a message to Jarud, and I'll make sure to tag Jack Does Magic on YouTube. You guys did pick up a free copy of Revolve. So congratulations to you guys. Also from last week, I did forget to announce this at the beginning. Our winners from last week were Tyson McKnight on YouTube, and our Facebook winner was Brandon Pierce. And our winners from last week actually pick up a free deck of Hanya playing cards. So again, our winners, Brandon Pierce, and our other winner there was Tyson McKnight. So I'll get in touch with both of those guys as well. They both do pick up a free deck of the brand new Hanya playing cards. So congrats to those guys as well. So lots of great stuff for you guys. We're doing giveaways. Don't forget to turn on your live notifications. I'll be back live next Thursday with David Regal, the one and only Mr. David Regal, chatting about his new book, Interpreting Magic, about his work with the Carbonaro effect. He works with Michael Carbonaro. He's at the Magic Castle all the time. He's always up to something. So I've got him live next week. Stay tuned for that. And if you have any last questions about Revolve or anything, you can always drop them in the comments. Just because this live is about to end doesn't mean that you have to stop asking questions. We're always around to help you out. So if you have anything else you want to know about, just let us know. Okay, that is it from me. Thank you again to Nicholas Lawrence, one of the great guys in our industry. Check him out online. You can find him on Instagram, Facebook, all the normal places, all those spots out there, all those normal places. So do it to it. And thank you guys for all the support, feedback, questions, and for being so freaking awesome. I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.